you are experiencing something that you are not appreciating externally, then the question should not be placed into the external world, but instead it should be focused inwardly. I say that because I went through a decades long experience of depression and anxiety from about the ages of 11 to 21. And through that experience, I, as a result, was forced into a place of desiring a way to figure out how the heck to get out. I chose to go the route of not relying on external factors just because intuitively that felt like what was appropriate for myself. And as a result, I spent just as long of my time in depression researching into ways that others can emerge from said state. What I have witnessed in all of those realms, i.e., most spiritualities like Buddhism and Hinduism, but also in modern manifestations of that, which include astrology, manifestation, and modern psychological techniques. All of those things dictate that the things occurring externally are being pulled or propelled from these inward states. That is not to say that acute happenings and circumstances are something that are dictated by yourself. Obviously, things happen and life is insanity. But what I am saying is that if you are experiencing a reoccurring pattern, whether that be in the form of specific kinds of people showing up, usually people who are not necessarily of a benefit to yourself, or whether you're experiencing feeling like there is something repeatedly going wrong. Maybe you feel like you step in your own way over and over again. Believe me, I've been in all of those spaces, and I used to place those questions externally, but until I was able to shift the way in which I was experiencing life, viewing what was happening to me, and the way in which I was thinking and feeling, I was not really able to shift anything external. All of it is to say, what we collectively need to decide is, okay, well, what's going wrong? How can I trace back where it is that that comes from? And if I'm able to trace it back to an experience or a circumstance, how can I circumnavigate by manipulating or playing with that energy? If instead you feel like you witness what's going wrong, but you can't necessarily pinpoint why it is that that's taking place, you'll need to instead focus on this concept of rewriting the story that Neville Goddard discusses, and which I also just intuitively stumbled upon myself when I was emerging from that really long decade of depression. What this involves is going into either a memory or a feeling state and shifting it from something that is detrimental into something that is beneficial. And whether it needs to take place once or repeatedly, eventually that feeling state and or thought processes that are unconsciously taking place in your brain, they are going to invert or shift yourself into a place of attracting stuff that you want. If you want more examples as to how it is that you can do this or the benefits that this can bring to your life, then feel free to follow along, because as I've demonstrated, a lot of my past has been wrapped up in discovering how to get out of that space, and I have assisted others in my life with doing the same thing. So if you're interested in changing your life in those kinds of ways, follow along. And if you've done the same for yourself or others around you, I'd love to hear about your experience.